Hello and welcome back to another video at my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making a birthday card. When I got my craft room put back together, I suddenly realized what the date was and that I needed a October 2nd birthday card. And so I started looking through my stamp sets that I've gotten recently, and I pulled out the Panda stamp set from Simon that came in a recent kit. And so I decided this would be a cute birthday card. And so I couldn't decide what kind of background, so I just decided to do a Distress Oxide blended ink background. So the colors that I'm using are Dried Marigold, Ripe Persimmon, and Fired Brick. Now these brushes that I'm using, these are not the Picket Fence life-changing brushes. These are just some makeup brushes that I found on Amazon for, I think the set of 10 brushes was like $12, and it's available on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, then it's no shipping. And I think they work really, really good. I mean, from the results that I see in other people's videos that use the Picket Fence ones, and these, I think they looks the same. And for the price difference, you certainly can't beat it. Anyway, here's that little panda stamp set, and there's several adorable little panda images. So I decided, since I was getting the stamp set out, that I would just stamp them all. And what I didn't use, I just put back in the packaging and save it for another day. So just using my stamp platform here, and I'm going to use some Simon Intense Black ink and ink these up. And I'm just going to, this is a new stamp set, so I was just wiping my hand over them, and then that kind of just helps get that coating that's left on it from manufacturing. And this will help get a better ink impression. Okay, so I'm just going to do some real quick and easy Copic coloring. Most of it is just 2 color blends. These are small images and simple images, so I didn't think you really had to get super complicated with this, and for them to look super cute. And I will have all the colors that I use listed over on the blog post for this. And these really, because there's not a lot to color on a panda, it really didn't take that long to color these. You do want to add in some gray on the white areas to give, your depth and dimension, so they don't look, flat, to give them some roundness and everything to them. And I tried to just keep the other colors just simple and consistent, throughout the little images. I used the same oranges, the same teals, the same pinks, and everything, just to keep it very consistent, and not have your card be busy with too many colors. And I thought these colors blended really well with the background that I did. So I'm just going to show you the coloring of one of the pandas, and then we're going to move on to a couple of the other things. Then I'll show the coloring to it. All right, here I'm blending all this out with the 0, and just dotted the eye with that teal. We'll go back in the end with a jelly roll, and I will put a little white dot in each of the eyeballs too. So here again, just doing simple 2 color blend, just making them darker on the bottom and darker wherever one balloon overlaps the other balloon. Again, just real simple. And the highlight areas, I'm not going to try and go around those. They're just too small. I'm going to just go right over the top of them, and I'm going to use my number 10 white jelly roll pen, and I will just put those highlights right back in there. Again, quick and easy and simple. I think it took me about 30 minutes in all to do this card. Yeah, so just very, very easy, very fast birthday card. And to cut these out, I don't have the dies. I rarely buy the dies that go with sets like this. I have a Brother Scan and Cut, so I just set it up on my Brother Scan and Cut and cut them out. The only dies I usually buy are like a font or, you know, squares or, you know, frame kind of things, stuff like that. I usually don't buy the matching dies for stamp sets. I just use my brother's Scan and Cut, and I think that saves a lot of money. So just coloring up that cake. I decided to stipple the cake a little bit just to, because, you know, cake's just not a solid color. So I just use some stippling effect there and just get the candles real quick. And I will go back and put in his shading in his eyes. So here I'll go in and put in the Jelly Roll highlights. And you want to make sure that your image is dry. That will make it easier for the Jelly Roll to write on it once the image is dry. I decided to add some polka dots to this little hat. And I'll just go around and do a few other little highlights. Okay, so now I've got the happy in the birthday balloons. So I am going to just take the birthday that's in the stamp set, and I'm going to white heat emboss it on this black cardstock. And then I'll cut it out, and that'll be what my panda will stand on the front of the card. So he won't look like he's just floating there. He'll have something to stand on. So you just want to melt that until it's smooth and shiny and there's no more granulating look to it. And now we'll just add some adhesive with my Scotch ATG gun on the back of this ink blended panel, which I did use Bristol Smooth on that. And I know it's not necessarily necessary with the oxides because they do blend very easily, but I had it handy and it just makes it that much easier. So I'm just going to get these lined up in my stamp platform, and I've realized it didn't work that direction, so I turn it this direction. And here's where I make a big boo-boo. When I inked it up, I didn't realize that I got ink on that ridge on the lid of the stamp platform, and I put a line on my card. And I was so sad because I was trying to get this card done and in the mail, and it was just frustrating. But then you just look back to your stamp set and say, okay, what can I do to cover this up? See, there's my line. So I went back to my stamp set, and there's other balloons on the stamp set, individual balloons. So I get out a couple of those, and I'm going to stamp those where the string of the balloon will kind of sort of cover where that boo-boo is. And then I do try and take my sand eraser, my mono sand eraser, and take a little bit more of the ink off. And then I finish it up, covering it up with my white Jelly Roll pen. And in the end, I think it looks fine. And, you know, unless you're just really going over the card with a fine-tooth comb, I don't really think you're going to notice all that much in the end. I'll have pictures at the very end of the video, so you can see, you know, how well that it turned out in the end, covering that spot up. And I'll just get a couple of the colors that I've been using and color these blends up. And, you know, I don't have to worry about it going through to the other side. One, I put the solid ink blended panel over it. Two, I do for my card bases use Neenah 110 pound silver white, so the Copics doesn't go through that like it would the 80 pound. But as I said, I do have the ink blended panel on the front anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So, but I'm trying not to go too deep when I'm sanding, you know, because I don't want to create a hole in the paper, but just getting off a little bit more of it. So I did finally get my craft room put back together, so I'm hoping to start cranking out lots of videos for y'all. I got so much fun stuff for Halloween, and my Halloween is almost upon us, so I really want to get some of that stuff done and uploaded for you guys to see. I decided to go over all my balloons and other little accents with my Nuvo glitter gloss pen. I really love the shimmer that this pen puts out. It puts out a lot of glitter. And then I'm going to go over that with glossy accents. I really love how the glossy accents enhances, you know, the glitter of the Nuvo, of Wink Stella, of your Spectrum Noir Clear Sparkle Overlay. Going over the top with the glossy accents just really, really enhances that. And so here we go. And a little bit of product had an air bubble, and so I had to scrub it a little bit to get that air bubble out. But it doesn't take long, and glossy accents really doesn't take all that long to dry. Although I did put some jewel drops in orange marmalade on here too. So I just decided to leave it overnight and put it in the mail the next day. And I did have a little bit of it. I was hurrying at this point and not paying attention to how I was squeezing my bottle, and I got a little bloop there, but it wipes up pretty good. I don't think you really can see it all that much in the final one. And I did it again here. And then it's like, okay, I just need to slow down and get this done. So after I get those on there, then I set the bottle there and I just tap them just to flatten them out a little bit. And so they're not just like a ball. And here's my final photos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you soon in the next one.